Hello, this is Brian Shannon from Alpha Trends Blogspot. It's Monday, September 3rd, 2007. Happy Labor Day to everyone. The market, the S&P 500, seems as though it's at a pretty critical juncture here. We've been monitoring this inverted head and shoulders pattern. It came up to that neckline and that location of the declining 50-day moving average on Friday and failed to break out. Doesn't mean I don't think we still have a chance. If you go back and review 2005 and 2006 and the inverted head and shoulders patterns there, they took a little bit of time at that area, and it is also encouraging that the NASDAQ 100 did break past its inverted head and shoulders pattern here. We can see that market is now in what appears to be another confirmed uptrend here. I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit of a pullback maybe towards 48, find some support near that 50-day moving average, and then perhaps we can really begin a rally. But when it comes to the trading, the market this week, I think we're in a good position basically to trade stocks based on their own merits. So let's take a look at a couple of them. Alkermes, ALKS is a symbol here. You can see on a weekly time frame, the stock has had numerous attempts at this 17.5, 18 area. It's come up to there on big volume just recently, and it's been diminished. The volume's been very light relative to the advance as it consolidates under that level. So I think it's building for a breakout here. So looking at a daily time frame, we've got a little bit of mixed picture with the 10-day moving average crossing down through the 20. But when we break it down to a 30-minute time frame, you can see it had been below this 5-day moving average. That 5-day moving average is flattened out. So this is a good stock to keep an eye on. I think that breaking back below $16.60, you would probably want to move to the sidelines of this. I'm not going to give any specific recommendations as where to buy them. You're going to be on your own for those. But our Arena Pharmaceuticals next, ARNA. This one's got a fairly fairly big short position in it. And you can see this one rallied up on big volume. It's been consolidating on low volume on the weekly time frame as well. Really needs to get above that 1480 or so level, I think, to really get moving. But it's showing good signs in here. There's that big volume move, low volume on the pullback, and they get a couple more days of heavy volume, light volume in here. The heavy volume came in once again on these moves. So overall, it shows that the buyers are getting more aggressive in here. Looks like it's probably needs to get above that 1350 level before the buyers really, I think we can consider them in control of the stock. I'd like to see a pullback maybe towards 1320 and then a push past that 1350 level. I think worst case your stop goes below about that $13 level in ARNA. Couple other ones, little guy, CEGE, Celgene, Cell Genesis. It's a speculative stock that can get going really good once in a while, and maybe above 385 it does that. If you do get involved in a stock like this, don't risk more than probably a dime down to 375. No upside target. Next one too, another real speculative stock. When it gets going, it can really get going. This is China Precision Steel, and you can see that this is a trading stock. This isn't a stock to buy and hold, regardless of what you think about China or steel or whatever this company does, because I'm not going to bother looking into it. But we're getting some big volume on the up moves, and it's holding on this time above the 50-day moving average. I mean, maybe it can make a run up to that 200-day moving average. That'd be a huge rally from here, from $4 to about $5.5, $6 a share. Looking at the 10-minute time frame, I think I'll probably get interested in the stock above Friday's high of about 405. And as far as risk goes, worst case down at 380. But there's no way I'd risk 25 cents on this, so just be careful with it. Something bigger and more liquid is Hanson. Hanson, I believe they reported earnings over here. The stock gapped up, and it came back down, but it's been holding really nicely here above this rising 50-day moving average, or near that rising 50-day moving average. You can see some resistance that's formed in here recently, just about the $45 actually dollar level, $45 a share. Getting above 45, you can see that we're now seeing higher lows, and I think breaking past there would add a higher high to it. There's a pretty good short position in here as well. Maybe they'll begin to feel some pain. I think that you want to give it up to about 45.10 or so before you really decide to get involved in this one for some momentum upside, but I think it's got some great upside in it. Worst case stop would probably be below this level right here at about 43.80 or so. But Hanson's starting to look a lot better. I also like ISIS. There's a huge short position in here, and you can see the stock broke past what a lot of people thought was a double top. Double tops, have to come down and break below here for it to be a real double top. But it broke past that resistance. That resistance has acted as support. Looking at the weekly time frame, you can see that it's at an important level here as well. Probably needs to get above that line to really for the buyers to be in control. But the monthly time frame, you can see that we had this pattern here, this little inverted head and shoulders on the monthly time frame. And I think the stock can really, with that big short position, it could really get going to the upside. It recaptured its 5-day moving average on Friday, and now I think that the buyers are back in control. It is declining, so maybe we can buy it a little bit cheaper or wait for a pullback and then buy some strength. But ISIS is looking very favorable to me on the upside. Another big short position is in Overstock. A lot of people have opinions about this company, but it's looking like we've got the rising 10, 20, and 50-day moving average. We've got a rising 200-day moving average. On a weekly time frame, you can see it's broken past some important resistance. It's holding on to those gains. It broke out with volume, low volume pullback. The CEO is supposedly crazy in this company, and a lot of mismanagement or whatever. But this longer-term chart looks like the buyers are back in control. So for a trade, forgetting about what this company does or how they're managed or what their CEO does and says, I think Overstock is a good one to keep on your radar for potential further upside. I kind of like CME as a short. And in fact, I own a couple puts on this. Almost no one has made money selling this stock short since they've become public. I mean, this is really one of the best performing stocks over the last 5 years, but it's starting to show some signs of weakness. Maybe this is a head and shoulders pattern. I don't know. I'm not playing it for that. I do have a little bit of some puts, like I said. But on the 5-day moving average, you can see when it gets back below that and starts turning lower, like we have now, you tend to get some nice waterfall declines, and maybe down towards 510. I don't know. It's a high price stock. Probably a stop up near 560 seems to make sense. That's 6 points away, so you got to be playing small share size, obviously, with a $600 stock. But looks like it could fall off a cliff here. FFIV is the symbol for F5, and the stock looks like it's in trouble. Came down on some heavy volume. It's just been kind of going back and forth in here, maybe making a shoulder head, and here's another shoulder. I don't know. But the stock hasn't really got that momentum to the downside yet. We do have a declining 5-day moving average now. You can see that Friday it opened strong, rallied up to that 5-day moving average and was rejected. So maybe below 34.50, the momentum builds to the downside here in F5, and it looks like it's going to get smacked pretty good. Ignore this big candle because this didn't happen. It's just a bad print, and there it is right there. So I got to call Realtek and tell them to clean their data up on that one. But usually Realtek, which a lot of people ask, what data provider do I use? I execute all my trades, and all these charts come through Realtek, realtek.com. Grow, G-R-O-W. On the weekly time frame, we've got lower highs. We've got some support in here, and the stock seems to be hanging around this uptrend line as well. But it looks to me like it's just trading real heavy in here with these lower highs. Declining 50-day moving average, 10 below the 20. They're both declining as well. You look at a 30-minute time frame, probably needs to get below about 2050 for it to really get moving to the downside. And I think that above about 2115 or so is where you want to say cut your losses, because that's where it looks like it might see a little bit of a short squeeze in here, because I'm sure there's a lot of other people looking at the stock as a potential short. So that's a few ideas for the coming week. Good luck, and just manage risk.